Hi, I'm Pam from the Birch Cottage blog. Welcome to my video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'd like to show you how I make these machine embroidered gingerbread man Christmas ornaments. They are just adorable. There's a family pack of the embroidery designs that you can purchase from Embroidery Library, and I will leave a link to those below. But you can also purchase individual designs if you don't want the whole family. This is the brother, the sister, the mother. There's also a father, and I have a cat as well. And there's a dog embroidery design as well. Let's take a look at the supplies that you will need. You'll want some cutaway stabilizer, some tan felt, white felt, 3/8 inch cross-grain ribbon, embroidery thread, and spray adhesive. You'll also want to have your embroidery scissors, a pair of larger scissors, your rotary cutter, acrylic ruler, and self-healing mat handy. You will find the embroidery designs on the Embroidery Library website for the gingerbread ornaments. The font is from Designs by Juju. The first thing that I did was to prepare the names for the name tags on the ornaments. I used the Tall Tale font by Designs by Juju, and I will leave a link to that below. I took my tan felt and I cut it into 4-inch squares. You'll need 2 4-inch squares for each ornament. Of course, you'll want some cutaway stabilizer, the embroidery thread that the design calls for. You can use their recommended colors or your own colors. You'll want a 3/8 inch wide cross-grain ribbon cut to 8 inches length, some spray adhesive, and of course your color change sheet from the Embroidery Library design, a pair of embroidery scissors, and you may want to have your seam ripper handy just in case. Now the first thing that you'll do is to hoop your tearaway stabilizer. And then you'll load that stabilizer into your embroidery machine. Load the thread, load your design, and it will stitch out a die line for the placement of the felt. Now I like to use the squares of felt because I feel like I can place it onto my embroidery hoop onto the stabilizer and it will stitch out just perfectly. Where if I go ahead and cut out the design first, I may not have placed it perfectly where it needed to be, and the stitching might be off just a little bit. So this ensures that the edges of my ornament are stitched out perfectly. So I just take the piece of 4-inch square felt and spray it with my adhesive spray, and I center it over the layout design, the die line design, and you can turn it over onto the back and see that you have it centered, and then just press it down real good, load it into your embroidery machine, and continue with the design. This will tack down the piece of felt to the stabilizer, and you can see I'm doing step 1 of 10. And I'm following along with my embroidery design through with the color change sheet. Now I'm switching over to the white thread from the tan thread and loading that into my machine. And it's going to stitch out the placement line or the die line for the name tag. And I also like to trim my threads as I go. Your jump threads, your beginning end threads, I like to trim those as I go so that my machine doesn't stitch over them. So you take your name tag, you spray it with the adhesive, and you center it over the die lines that were just stitched onto the piece of felt. Load the hoop back into your machine, and it will tack down the name tag in place. I apologize for the sound of my voice. I'm getting over having a cold, but I'm trying to do the best I can. Excuse me. So it will continue to tack down that name tag. All right, then you'll trim those threads, and then the next thing it's going to do is to stitch the white outline of the gingerbread ornament. Just allow that to continue stitching. Follow the color change instructions for the design. And then when it has finished stitching out, you will remove the hoop from the embroidery machine. And then we're going to attach the back piece of felt and the ribbon. So take your other 4-inch square of felt and spray it with the spray adhesive. And then you'll take your ribbon and fold it in half with one end slightly longer than the other. And that way both ends of the ribbon will adhere to the adhesive that you just sprayed on the felt, if that makes sense. So you'll put the side that has the short and the long ends down against that felt, turn your hoop over, and center it with the previous square. Now make sure that the ends of your ribbon are down far enough that they will be enclosed in the stitching at the top of your ornament. Then next, once that is done, you'll tear away the cutaway stabilizer, and then you will trim around the ornament design. Just take your small pair of scissors and trim close to the gingerbread ornament stitching. And here are the gingerbread ornaments, a few of the ones that I have completed. Didn't they just turn out adorable? I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Thank you for watching it. Be sure to like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you found it helpful. And please come visit me over on the Birch Cottage blog. Thank you.